were driving around the country visiting friends and family and all kinds of stuff. And we broke up in San Francisco, and I stayed there. My best friend was there, and we just started doing theater together again, like we had been in Ithaca years before, and just,
My
I
my
stayed.
my, my middle daughter is in San Francisco right now. I was talking to her today because she just got a new puppy, a new
Oh.
black lab, and they're coming up for a visit, and that coincides when he needs some shots. So
Oh,
she was having me arrange for our vet
right.
to let the puppy in, and the puppy you like this. His name is Arlo.
Harlow.
Just because I'm in misery, I'm not asking for no sympathy. But if it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love.
So I'm going to make a few remarks, and then
We have plenty of time, so you can
say a few things and
Introduce
tell us
us.
good stories. I'll introduce you guys partly, but I want you guys to tell your own stories a little bit.
but you can introduce Artichoke, Portland Folk Music Society,
Yeah, yeah.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
You could say something about all those things.
I'll do that, and then you can help me if there's something that I missed that you think is, worth noteworthy or something like that.
We have a couple of our fellow board members, David and
I saw David.
Gail, are both here.
Oh, Gail, cool.
And our webmaster, Paul, is here from PFS. That's Paul Riggin. You met him?
I have not. I get copied on his
That's Paul right there.
Hey, Paul.
I was telling
Good to
stories
meet
about
you.
today.
In person.
He's a terrific singer, musician himself, actually. And he runs the, what is that, fall songs thing. He organized it, runs it. And that clock is what we're going by, so in 1 minute we're supposed to start again.
It's nice to have that.
Yeah, that clock, John, that clock is what we're,
Notice that
clock,
Oh,
nice big clock there.
that's what we're going by. Don't worry about your phone.
don't worry about the phone. Don't worry about real time.
Turn off your phone. No, this is real time. That's what we're going by here.
Just kidding. Okay, go.
That's our reality.
Fine by me.
It looks like it.
I'm always into alternate
Be a
realities.
minute or two fast. Okay.
You can always ask me to come into an alternate reality. Anytime.
Do we have a sound person? Are we all set there? Thank you. So, folks, welcome tonight. Welcome to Artichoke tonight. My name is Ken Vigil, and I'm here with Steve Chesborough and Waxwing John Cowan. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit more. I'm going to make a few introductory remarks and maybe a little bit about Portland Folk Music Society, because that's Portland Folk Music Society is kind of sponsoring this night, and we're kind of a brother or sister organization to Artichoke Music, if you're more familiar with Artichoke. But Portland Folk Music Society has been around for almost 50 years, and we have maybe one of the founding members or a couple of early people to join Portland Folk Music Society. I'm new to the board there. I just joined about 6 months ago. And every 2 months, Portland Folk Music Society puts on a showcase as a fundraiser for Artichoke. And the gentleman that organized it is Ken Gaines from Portland Folk Music Society. And he asked me and Ches to kind of lead this one tonight. And it just happened to fall on June 19th. So I want to maybe say a couple words about that. And I'm not going to give a history lesson, but many of you know Juneteenth. That was from June 19th, 1865, when the word finally got to Texas that the Civil War had ended and that emancipation had occurred. And I think for me, it's more of a celebration these days of African American experience. Kind of like, my ethnicity is Mexican American, and Cinco de Mayo, is about the Battle of Puebla, but it's more globally a celebration of Mexican Americans and maybe even further than that, Hispanic Americans. So for Juneteenth, I thought that it would be apropos to have a night of acoustic blues. And so I have a couple of blues masters that are going to join me tonight. And we're going to talk about how we've been influenced, by the African American music tradition and blues. And I'm even going to go a little sideways on you and, talk about some other traditions that I think are very related. So I might say more later, but now we're going to let Steve lead us off on a song.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. And we were supposed to have a fourth person here, Ann Weiss. Sorry, she is not coming. She said she woke up feeling bad, feeling ill this morning and had to cancel. So anyway, if you came to hear her, you can leave now if you want to. It's okay. We'll let you do that, but we hope you will have a good time. even though we're gonna miss her. So I'm gonna do a spiritual number here to start off. And someone told me the other day all music is spiritual, which I think that is is a good thought, and should all music should be coming from your spirit. But this is from the African American spiritual tradition, and let me try it for you here. I got a home in this rock, don't you see? I got a home in this rock, don't you see? Just between the earth and sky, I heard my Savior cry. Son, you got a home in this rock, don't you see? Poor old Lazarus, poor as I, don't you see? Poor old Lazarus, poor as I, don't you see? Poor old Lazarus, poor as I. When he died, he got a home on high. He had a home in this rock, don't you see? Rich man died as he lived so well, don't you see? Rich man died as he lived so well, don't you see? Rich man died as he lived so well. And when he died, he had a home in hell. He had no home in this rock. God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah the rainbow sign, don't you see? God gave Noah the rainbow sign. No more water but fire next time. You better get a home. I got a home in this rock, don't you see? I got a home in this rock, don't you see? Mama got a home and Papa too. All right, people, now how about you? You better get a home. Thank you. All right, Ken.
Hey, thanks, Chaz. Those of you that know me know that I do a lot of original compositions, and a lot of my music, I would say, is inspired by blues masters, traditional music. This one, I would say, was inspired a little bit by Robert Johnson, And, he's a Delta bluesman, and these guys might tell you more about him, but he affected a lot of the rock and rollers, everyone from Eric Clapton and, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, anyway. And he picked up a lot of his influences from others. These guys are going to talk about them. And then we've all picked up information and influences from this one. This is the newest tune I wrote, I think maybe a month ago. I don't even think my partner Brian has heard this one yet, because I haven't played it for my band yet. But anyway, this one, I call it Another Hungry Man, or Hungry Man Blues. I had the blues this morning, blues this afternoon. Nighttime comes around, you find me howling at the moon. Had the blues this morning, blues this afternoon. Nighttime comes around here, I'm howling at the moon. Well, I'm howling all night long now, ain't that morning coming soon? And I'm playing for my supper, just doing what I can. Playing this old guitar, just another hungry man. Playing for my supper, doing what I can. I'm playing this old guitar, just another hungry man. Yeah, I'm thirsty and I'm hungry as I travel across this land. Sometimes I've been down and I've been out, down the road without you, and that's what I cry about. You know that I've been way down and I've been way out. I'm down this road without you, and that's what I cry about. Min-da-da-da-doo-doo turns a whisper to a shout. Look me up next Tuesday and ask me how I've been. Troubled but stout-hearted, trying to save the world from sin. Look me up next Tuesday, say, man, how you been? I'm troubled but stout-hearted, trying to save the world from sin. Na-da-da-da, open up and let you in. Old guitar, doing what I can, playing for my supper, just another hungry man. Playing this old guitar, doing what I can. I'm playing for my supper, just another hungry man. And I'm thirsty and I'm hungry as I travel across this land. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Waxwing John, and the reason I'm Waxwing John is because my name is John Cowan, and if you know anything about newgrass music in the beginning of newgrass music, you know John Cowan was a member of the bluegrass revival band in the 70s, and he's really famous. And if you Google John Cowan and music, you get 20 pages of him. So I became Waxwing John. Some of my friends convinced me that I should use my log on from a website that about the blues, and that works. And well, I'm a bird watcher too. Yes. And they're now coming to the cherry tree in my yard in St. John's. It's great. But really, yeah, the first influence on me about the blues is what Ken was talking about was rock and roll. You know, I growing up like almost everybody I see in here, growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Yeah, they were so influenced by early jazz, and I'm going to play a couple songs later to really indicate how influenced they were by some of these people. And you know, I'll mention that later because I figured out why Henry Thomas got so many songs. Anyway, but I'm going to play one by a guy named Tommy Johnson. He was from Jackson, Mississippi. This was recorded 1928, I think. Most of the stuff I'm going to play is not only is it pre-war, but pre-depression. You know, the really early time when they hadn't heard music from other areas yet, so it was still very endemic to their area, and that's the most fun for me, is to play this song that's like that and that song that's like this. So I'm going to play one by Tommy Johnson called Can Heat Blues, which is, yes, the one that the band Can Heat named the band. Crying, can he, mama, crying, solo killing me. Crying, can he, mama, solo killing me. Can he don't kill me, I will never die. Crying, mama, 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 crying, sure Lord killing me. Crying, mama, 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 crying, can he killing me. Take out the rub to shake the can heat blue. Crying, woke up this morning and that can heat on my mind. Woke up this morning, can he load on my mind. Woke up this morning, can it on my mind. Crying, Lord, Lord, I wonder, you know that can he killing me. Take alcohol rule me, churning about my soul. But them sweet young women don't do the easy road. Crying, woke up this morning, had that candy round my bed. Run here, somebody, take these candy blues. Run his own body and take these candy blues. Crying, mama, 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 crying, sure Lord killing me. Believe to my soul, Lord, they're gonna kill me dead. Can he blues? Tommy Johnson.
And yeah, I like that song a lot. And Canned Heat, by the way, is sterno, like you see at a buffet line or something. So they call it canned heat because it's heat in a can. But during Prohibition, it was a way to get high if you couldn't get legal or even bootleg alcohol. You could take canned heat. And I had the privilege of getting to know Honey Boy Edwards, who was a very long-lived blues man who just passed away finally a few years ago. And he had actually known Tommy Johnson and drunk canned heat with Tommy Johnson. That's pretty deep in the blues right there. And so he explained, I have not tried it myself, but you heat up the can, don't ignite it, but warm it up till it melts, because it's waxy if you just open it first. And then you strain it through something like an old stocking or a loaf of white bread with the two ends cut off, used as a filter to strain it through so the waxy stuff stays in there. And the liquid that comes out, you catch in a container underneath, and then you mix it with orange pop. At least that was what Tommy Johnson preferred. And then you sit around singing.
But it
about
didn't
candy.
kill him. It didn't kill him. He lived to be 53. And he was probably in his 20s when he recorded that,
All right, so I'm going to try a song by the other Johnson who we already mentioned here, Robert Johnson, who, has become the poster boy for early blues in recent decades. He actually is not the originator of the blues. He was rather late in the game, actually. He recorded in the late 30s. He was born in 1911, recorded in the late 30s. So he was kind of anachronistic, actually, playing solo acoustic blues, accompanying himself on the guitar. The mainstream music of Black America was into like the swing era by then. So he not only didn't Johnson start the blues, he was pretty late to it, and he also was not particularly popular. Yeah, some people who don't know a lot about the blues have heard that name and maybe heard his music and think that he's like the towering figure of the early blues. He's not at all. He actually was not very popular in his day. I mean, he died young, sadly. He died at age 27 in 1938, so he may have become more popular had he lived longer. Somebody came looking for him right after he died. They wanted him to play at Carnegie Hall in New York for the Spirituals to Swing concert in 1939 that was dedicated to Bessie Smith, who had died also in a car. She had died in a car crash the same year that Robert Johnson died of murder. He was poisoned and murdered. But anyway, he seems to become more popular every decade or so since his death. And he's a beautiful artist. Yeah, I love his music, but it's just he's not the one and only blues artist that there is. So, but let's try one of his songs anyway here for you. Well, I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, it's hard to tell, and it's hard to tell when all your love's in vain. All my love's in vain. When the train come in the station, I looked her in the eye. The train come in the station, and I looked her in the eye. And I felt so sad, so lonesome, that I could not help but cry. All my love's in vain. When the train left the station, had those two lights on behind. The train left the station with two lights on behind. The blue light was my blues, and the red light was my mind. All my love's in vain. Ooh, Willie Mae. Ooh, me oh mine. Ooh, all my love's in vain. All my love's in vain. Thank you. Thank you. And thank our sound man, Chris, for miking my foot tapping. I love that. Good job.
Whoa, yeah.
All right, Jen, what you got?
Thanks. You know, today started off with a text from Ann Weiss saying that she thought she had come down with something. And I think most of the day we were hopeful that she was going to shake it off, or maybe it was, you know, I don't know, allergies or something like that. And so we, you know, considered should we get another person, but we really didn't have time. And you know, we were hopeful that she was going to rally. And then about 3 o'clock, I got another text from her that she said she had the bad fever. And then just at 6:30, she texted me and said, "Tell everyone hello." So those of you, you know, Ann was really wanting to make the show, and you know, again, we try to get diversity up on stage, you know, either, you know, gender diversity or ethnic diversity and all that. And you know, I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story about my introduction to the blues, you know, which happened more than 50 years ago. But I grew up in a multi-ethnic neighborhood, involved places, Ogden, Utah. So there were a lot of people there worked for the military, for the Air Force, like my dad. My dad was, I tell people, he was a Top Gun jet mechanic. He wasn't a pilot, but he was the mechanic that kept those fighter jets in the air. And anyway, my next door neighbor were the Browns, African American family, and my best friend there was Roland Brown. And my first instrument for the blues was a saxophone. So Roland played the alto sax, and I played the tenor sax. So again, some 50 or more years ago, I started playing the blues on the tenor sax. And I didn't bring any saxophones with me, but I did bring a banjo and a mandolin for later. So I'm going to segue out of that later. But you know, with the story, you know, of the end of the Civil War and emancipation, there were a lot of these blues artists that, you know, grew up on plantations, and then they were free people, and a lot of people started to head north, and you know, not going back to the 30s, but you know, after they started heading north, you know, like Muddy Waters or Howlin' Wolf. And my old blues band, we took the name Howlin' and made it Howlin' Trout, because we were a bunch of fishermen too. So this is a song that I wrote for that band, for Howlin' Trout. And my partner, Brian Hempel, was one of the members of Howlin' Trout, who's here in the audience. This one's called Hard Day Tomorrow. I was trying to remember it. And it's kind of like I don't know. People tell stories. You got to start at the beginning of the story and work your way into it. This was like a Chicago blues. That's why I did that sidebar on Chicago. This is more of a Chicago blues style. I'm having the blues, I'm knowing the blues, I'm suffering the blues, I'm living the blues, You know it's been a hard life, filled with desperation. You know it's been a long life, filled with pain and sorrow. A tough yesterday, yeah, a rough day today, and a hard day tomorrow, I'm knowing the blues, I'm showing the blues, I'm living the blues, I'm suffering the blues, You know it's been a hard life, filled with desperation. You know it's been a long life, filled with pain and sorrow. A tough yesterday, yeah, a rough day today, and a hard day tomorrow. I'm knowing the blues, I'm showing the blues, I'm feeling the blues, I'm stealing the blues, You know it's been a hard life, filled with desperation. You know it's been a long life, filled with pain and sorrow. A tough yesterday, yeah, a rough day today, and a hard day tomorrow. 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 A tough yesterday, yeah, a rough day today, and a hard day tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
So in my high school time, I did actually start to play guitar at that time a little bit. And I met a woman who I knew was a little bit older than me, and just happened to hear her playing really great finger-picking guitar. This would have been about 66, 67 maybe. And So I asked my friend who I was playing basketball, who is that? He said, oh, that's Nancy, you know, rock. She was like this sort of local figure, folk singer. So I went, oh yeah, I know Nancy. So I went over and I spent every day all summer learning to finger pick from her. And then I got involved in theater in college and I stopped playing guitar. And I did theater for quite some time, but then when I decided to no longer say I was pursuing acting, that 2 weeks later I had my old guitar out of the closet. And I had to get the neck reset. You know, it had been like 30 years, 20 years since I played it, I guess. And I said, so what, you know, I was about 50 then. I said, you know, if I'm going to get really good at something so that I can perform like I have been in the theater, I need to narrow my focus. I can't play jazz and blues and I can't do all. I need to really focus in. And so, what did I really like about what I was playing? I was like, Dave Van Ronk, Come Back Baby, yeah, that's that kind of stuff, you know. And so I hadn't really heard many of the blues players back in the day when I was a kid, but at that point I was also sort of getting into the internet, and I found, wow, you can learn how to play like Blind Boy Fuller from this video, you know, that you can get on the internet, and here's a forum of people talking about how to do this stuff. And so I just fell into the passion that I had as a kid, and I decided I was going to focus really hard on the old country blues, and so now that's how I got where I am today. Anyway, with that, so I'm going to play a song. This is a song by a guy named Charlie Patton. It's probably his most famous song in his day. He was known for this. But a lot of people they interview, oh, Charlie Patton, yeah, he played that Pony Blues, didn't he? Right. And so I'm gonna see if I can do Pony Blues here today. And I learned how to use my right hand from him. He uses his right hand in a different way from most of the people who play country blues today. And somewhat from a lot of the people who did then, but I think it's an older style. He was one, you know, this was recorded in 28, so that was early in the recording of African American musicians, and I think I'm going to play some by other people today, who also use this same style. Once I learned it from him, I started hearing, oh yeah, he's using it there too. Yeah. So we're gonna learn about that today. Well, it changed my pony, saddle up my black man. Well, it changed my pony, saddle up my black man. I'm gonna find a rider, baby, in this world somewhere. Hello. No matter where your line, low cent matter now where your line. Come a storm last night, towed the wire down. Got a brand new Shetland, maybe already trained. Brand new Shetland, baby already trained. Just get in the saddle, tighten up on your rein. And them big leg of women like something fit to eat. Big leg women like something fit to eat. Them skinny leg women, don't put your hand on me. Took my baby, I made the morning train. Took my baby, meet the morning train. And blues come down, baby, like showers of rain. And I got something to tell you when I get the chance. So I'ma tell you when I get a chance. Pony Blues, Charlie Patton.
Very nice. All right, I'm gonna do one. Anybody see the movie Sinners?
Not yet.
Oh, well, you gotta see it while it's in a theater. It's very visual. You don't want to wait till you watch it on a small TV set. You gotta go see it if you're interested in American history, especially of this era that we're talking about, 1930s in the South and the world that the blues comes from. It also is a vampire movie, strangely enough. I don't like vampire movies, but I knew I had to see it because, of course, I'm interested in the blues and Mississippi in the 1930s. And, I mean, it's rare for Hollywood to make a major movie, a major Hollywood release about the blues. The only other ones that I know of are Crossroads and the Blues Brothers, both of which are not very good movies. Not very good movies. And they both have white heroes, by the way, where Sinners does not. Sinners is directed by a black director and does not have a white hero in it. So it's a much better movie in many, many ways. So anyway, I'm going to do a song that was in that movie. This is the one. It's when the vampires show up at the juke joint trying to get in. The three white vampires are trying to get into the juke joint, and they sing. They have musical instruments, and they sing a kind of bluegrassy version of this song, which actually comes from the blues tradition. So this song, Pick Poor Robin Clean, was first recorded by Luke Jordan in 1925, I believe, and then it was recorded again by Geechee Wiley and Elvie Thomas, a wonderful duo of women who sang and played guitar, in 1930. And so that was kind of a strange choice that they picked to show like what the white vampire, although nothing in this movie is clear or simple. So like it's not like the vampires are playing bad music now, because some of the people in the juke joint even say, that sounds pretty good when they're out there playing. So it's, and I think it also might have to do with the lyrics, Pick Poor Robin Clean. So the lyrics have to do with taking someone for all he's worth. So either a gambler or a prostitute eyeing a mark who they're going to pick them clean. So that's kind of what vampires do, right? They take the life out of you too. So I think that might be one of the reasons they picked this song for the movie. But anyway, I'm going to do it not the way the vampires do it in the movie. You bet I pick poor Robin clean, pick poor Robin clean. Pick his head, pick his feet, I would've picked his body, but it wasn't fit to eat. I pick poor Robin clean, I pick poor Robin clean, and I'll be satisfied having your family. Get off my money and don't act funny. Well, I'm a winner, gonna eat your dinner. Hustling for Sadie, she is my lady. And I'm a hustling coon, that's just what I am. You bet I pick poor Robin clean, pick poor Robin clean. Pick his head, picked his feet, I would've picked his body, but it wasn't fit to eat. I pick poor Robin clean, I pick poor Robin clean, and I'll be satisfied having your family. And if you have that gal of mine, I'm gonna have your mom, I have your sister too, I have your auntie three. And if your great-grandmama do the chivalry, I'm gonna have a foe, and I'll be satisfied having your family. You know I pick poor Robin clean, I pick poor Robin clean. pick his head, I pick his feet. I would have picked his body, but I wouldn't fit to eat. I pick poor Robin clean. I pick poor Robin clean, and I'll be satisfied having your family. Thank you.
I really liked that movie, by the way. And there's a connection between blues and bluegrass, and I'm going to get into that in our second set. But I'm going to play a song, and then John will play a song, and then maybe we'll take a little break here and then come back for a second set. But sometimes when I play, I have friends that say, well, tell us how you wrote this or why you wrote it, you know. And other people just say, just play the song, you know, don't talk about it, you know. So there's difference of opinion on it. But I'm going to explain a little bit about this song. So I call this a Northwest Blues, and it has a little folky thing to it. And I call it Northwest Blues because, again, so far I've just been playing original compositions. And this one is called Open Sky and Highway. And I used to drive from Portland to Yakima, Washington for work, and that's when I started learning how to play harmonica, you know, on a rack like this, because I would drive and I would just play the harmonica and practice. Sometime I'd play to the radio, another time I'd turn the radio off and I'd just practice. And if you're going from Portland to Yakima and you go over the pass by Goldendale, that's called Sadis Pass. So if you listen, you'll hear I mentioned Sadis Pass in this song. And you know, I guess I had this image a little bit. Of course, there was some suffering involved, you know, and there's always got to be that. But then there was some promise of kind of maybe breaking free, and maybe new things were ahead, better things were ahead. And if you were traveling, there's the open sky and highway that could be your friend. So anyway, this one's called Open Sky and Highway. I wrote it some years ago when I used to drive over Sadis Pass. Gray sky in the morning, blue song in the night, sneaks up without warning and steadies for the fight. So come around another time and see if you find another man or me, keeping it together till the end. Open sky and highway like a friend. Open sky and highway like a friend. Climbing over the mountain, reaching Sadis Pass. Fire turns to ember, nothing's gonna last. Running through the darkness, chasing down the wind. Somewhere try to fence us, pay 5, 0 and 10. Come around another time and see if you find another man of me, keeping it together till the end. Open sky and highway like a friend. Open sky and highway like a friend. Knowing but not saying, thoughts of wine and ale, thirsting instead of hunger, the sky again is pale. But come around another time and see if you find another man of me, keeping it together till the end. Open sky and highway like a friend. Open sky and highway like a friend. Open sky and highway like a friend. I'll tell you a secret before we get started. I put my harmonica in backwards. And so I was trying to not on purpose. So I was trying to think backwards where I was going to grab those notes. Live music.
There was something I was going to talk about. What was it now? I want your guitar. Oh, okay. This guitar was made around 1920, and this would have been the type of guitar that a lot of the music would have been created on. And what's really interesting about that is a lot of the sound has to do with the bracing. So this guitar, and you can almost see where it is because it's faded. There's a brace that goes across there. There's one that goes across in through here. There's a bit of a plate underneath here, and there's a brace up there and a brace there. And that's all it has. Now, this guitar has an X that goes like this, and then it has a bunch of filler ones in here and a bunch of filler ones in some over, and then they got so they have a very different sound. And what the sound that this guitar has, it has a very strong mid-range, actually. It has an okay bass and it has pretty good treble. I mean, you can always get treble, right? But these guitars had a really strong. So a lot of the musicians who were creating for this, to play on this guitar, they used that area. That's what they used to play. So then when guys started trying to play this music with 60s and 70s, X-brace guitars, these guitars have big bass, big treble, and what they sometimes call the Gibson scoop, or good separation, right? They have good separation. So they don't have it. So when you start playing those licks in that mid-range, you got to play much harder to get that to balance with the bass chord that bass notes that you're playing at the same time. Now people are making these guitars again, like yours. You have one, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to play one now. This is by the Mississippi Chic. So I'm only actually going to be playing half the song. The other half is a fiddler, Lonnie Chatmon. There was a family, the Chatman, or Chatmon family, depending, was a sort of a musical family, and the band that we know of was the Mississippi Sheiks, and the guitar player was Walter Vinkson, who was a cousin, we think, and then Lonnie Johnson was the fiddle player, and sometimes Bo Chatmon, who was also Bo Carter, who I think Steve, who was a Bo Carter expert, is going to play one tonight. Yeah, I thought so. And but anyway, this is just the Walter Vinkson part of the song called "Stop and Listen," and it is an arrangement that was used by other Chatmons. Sam Chatmon, the youngest one, recorded "Brown Skin Women," I think, basically, and a very similar arrangement to this. You know, there's a little too much reverb in the guitar, I think. Oh, right, that's what, I knew something was wrong. Every day have been, baby, long old lonesome day. Now don't you hear me talking, pretty mama? Every day have been a long old lonesome day. Crying seems like tomorrow gonna be same old way. Crying smokestack black, baby. Bells, they shine like gold. Now don't you hear me talking, pretty mama? Smokestack black. Bells, they shine like gold. Cried, I found my baby laying on a cooling bowl. Don't look lonesome, mama, rolling for your door. Now don't you hear me talking, pretty mama? Don't look lonesome, rolling for your door. Cried, she's gone, she gone, won't be back no more. Cried, stop and listen. Hear how that belly told. Now don't you hear me talking, pretty mama? Stop and listen. Hear that belly told. I had a sweet little pharaoh, and now she's dead and gone. Crying, I followed my baby down to that burying ground. Now don't you hear me talking, pretty mama? I followed my baby down to that burying ground. It would have me horses standing all around. Thank you. Stop and listen.
So we're almost ready to take a break. I have a couple of words, and then Ches has a couple of things. I just, again, on behalf of Portland Folk Music Society, we're happy to be here. And if you're not familiar with that organization, portlandfolkmusic.org. We have concerts on the east side of Portland, concerts on the west side of Portland, lots of song circles and all that. So check out that website. see those activities and come and join us. And again, I wanted to thank all my old friends and new friends and family for coming out to support us. And after Ches has a few words, then we're going to take a short break.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say that this is a benefit for Artichoke. So everything that you paid to come in tonight, thank you so much. That is going to Artichoke. So if you want to leave a tip for the musicians, you may do that at the jar here. And if you want to leave a tip for the bartender, he has a tip jar up there too. And please do buy stuff from the bar. It helps Artichoke, and it might help you too if you enjoy what you're drinking. I also have some CDs and a book for sale. They're out on the table back there. I don't know if these guys brought any
I have
stuff,
some
but
CDs too,
you can talk to us on the break if you want to look at that stuff or ask us any other questions about anything else. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Is it coming through the speakers okay? Okay. Yeah, that's called a Lonesome Moonlight Waltz.
Let's get started. Huh?
So, are we going the same order again? You want me to go?
Yeah, so we're going to get started. Thanks everybody again for coming out, and a little bit of instrument changing on my part, and we'll just keep going and telling stories and playing music and trying to entertain you all. Thanks for
Thank
being here, everybody.
Yes, thank you all for coming. It's so great to see so many people here. I didn't know what to expect if we'd be playing. We would have given you a good show if you were the only person here, but it's still nice to have a crowd here. Very nice, thank you. Could we get the lights lowered again like they were earlier? Cool, that's more like it. All right, well, I guess I better do a song by the aforementioned Bo Carter, who was part of the Chapman family, which was a large musical family from kind of central Mississippi. They were from a town called Bolton, which is somewhat east of like between Jackson and Vicksburg, if you're familiar with Mississippi. And Bo Carter did live in Jackson for quite a while, too. So it is Mississippi blues. It's not Delta blues. It's their father, Henderson Chapman, the patriarch of the family, had been a fiddler during slavery times, and he taught all of his kids. They played various instruments and had a family band that Waxwing was talking about and played a song from earlier, the Mississippi Sheiks, who were very successful. In fact, they had multiple versions of that band. I mean, on the record, it was a few people usually doing it, but in live performance, like you might hire the Mississippi Sheiks for your party, and she could hire them for her party also, because they had a varying cast of characters. Like, I know there are popular dance bands still who do that kind of thing where you could have more than one of them. So Bo Carter was kind of their booking agent. He was the soberest of them, I believe. And so he'd handled the business part, even if he wasn't playing. He did not play on most of the Sheiks records because he had his own separate career as a solo artist under the name Bo Carter. And he was very successful. So he kind of is a contemporary of Robert Johnson's. In the late 30s, he was making records and selling a lot of them. Yeah, he was actually very successful on the race record market. So race records was a marketing concept. The record companies, it was kind of the first subdivision of the market. Of course, now it exists in music and in other industries where they sell for certain elements of the popular. Before that, they used to just try to sell to everybody. So this was a new idea that, you can make records that black people would buy, and that's a market. It doesn't have to sell to everyone. So they called them race records was the euphemism. It later became, I think it probably still exists as the R&B charts or something they call it now, but that was what blues originally was part of the race record market, and Bo Carter was one of the stars of that. And let me try one of his numbers for you. Yeah, he actually played a metal guitar, similar to what Waxwing is playing here. I just thought I would keep things simple and bring one guitar tonight, so I didn't bring my metal guitar. But yeah, as John was talking about this guitar, so yeah, I play old music. Why do I play a new guitar? Well, it's made similar, like it's made actually by a local luthier, Maxwell Sipe, who just did a beautiful job with this guitar. I just love it. So it's based on a 1900 Washburn, which he's taken apart many of those, but he did it his own way with this scroll work on the frets, and it does have the ladder bracing that Waxman was talking about to give it the old sound, and it also, the back and sides of it are, does anyone know what kind of wood this is? No?
White oak.
It's a local wood that you all should know if it comes from the coast here. Myrtle wood, yeah. It sure is. So he used that, and it's just beautiful, and it has great sonic properties, too. I guess people are getting to know myrtle wood. Some people get a block of it and put it under their stereo speakers. It supposedly helps the sound, so it works very well on guitars. And the top, this is an old piece of cedar from a nice thick grain, like a log that was recovered, a sinker log, you know, so it's an old, big old tree that makes this top. Anyway, let me try. Oh yeah, so this is a kind of a seasonal song. We're celebrating the Juneteenth holiday today, but this is also a season that I look forward to every year when fava beans are in season. So I don't know if you're familiar with them. I grow them in my garden. They do wondrous things for your garden. They add nitrogen to the soil, unlike most plants that remove it. But so some people grow them just as a cover crop and then plow them under, but that's a big mistake because they're missing out on eating. You can eat the leaves, but especially the beans is what you can eat them fresh for, like right now when they're in season. You can dry them and use them later, or buy them dried already in the stores. In British English, it's called the broad bean. Here in the U.S., we use the Italian word. They're very popular in Italian cuisine. Fava, F-A-V-A. In Arabic, they're called fool. So there's a dish, fool madamas, that's a famous Middle Eastern dish using dried fava. So apparently, they were popular. I mean, now they're kind of hard to find in the United States if you don't grow them yourself or go to a farmer's market, maybe. But apparently they were popular in the 1930s in the United States South because they're in this song among other kinds of beans. It's kind of a commentary on the diet of poor people. And he mentions, he pronounces it fava beans, so I'm sure that's what he's talking about. So yeah, I'm kind of impressed that those were apparently popular at the time, that he and his listeners would have known what it was, and then they kind of faded out. So got to do this one for you, beans. Kidney beans, boys, I don't want them no more. I don't want no more of them kidney beans. Well, they're about to make my stomach sore. Well, I ate them last night and the night before. Had to run out to the little house in the back and shut the door. I don't want no more of them kidney beans, boys, I don't want them no more. Boys, I don't want them no more. I don't want no more of them Davy beans. Well, they're about to make my stomach sore. See, I ate them last night, the night before. When I got through, couldn't shut my door. I don't want no more of them Davy beans. Boys, I don't want them no more. Well, want no more of them fava beans. Boys, I don't want them no more. I don't want no more of them fava beans. We're about to make my stomach sore. You know, I ate them last night, the night before. When I got through, had to scrub my floor. I don't want no more of them fava beans. Boys, I don't want them no more. I don't want no more of them pinto beans. Boys, I don't want them no more. I don't want no more of them pinto beans. They're about to make my stomach sore. I ate them last night, the night before. Get any luck, ain't go eat them no more. I don't want no more of them pinto beans. Boys, I don't want them no more. Thank you.
Bo Carter.
It's blueberry season too, and
Yeah.
maybe or huckleberry. I should do huckleberry fin song or something, but I'm not. Maybe this is the set where we talk about our instruments a little bit. And somebody had asked me about this instrument, and it's not the first mandolin that I ever bought. The first mandolin I ever bought was Gibson AO 1928, and it's a very good folk instrument. In fact, I have two of them. But the necks are a little large, and it doesn't have some of the modern things. And this is a vintage 1951 Gibson called F12, and I call it a F12 because usually the higher the number, the more ornate the instrument. And so those of you that know, Bill Monroe played a F5. That's a famous bluegrass instrument, and this one is not fancier than that. This is more like a F12, but 51 vintage of this one. And I bought this from Dusty Strings in Seattle. Some of you might know where Dusty Strings is at. And it already had all this pick wear on it. Because sometimes when I'm playing this, people will say, "Man, you're rough on your instrument," And I'm actually not very rough on the instrument, but this came. And I was mentioning that somebody in the audience, I think this gentleman here, that sometimes those older and the rattier they look, the better they sound. So if you go to Nashville, and we have somebody visiting from Nashville here. Yeah, one of my friends. And anyway, if you go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, they have Bill Monroe's mandolin there. And it is just beat up. But man, that played some really sweet music. And I'm going to make the case here that a lot of this music is connected, and we did a little bit of connections. You start looking around, you see Woody Guthrie there, and Woody Guthrie hung out with Lead Belly and Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee and all that. But I think some of my favorite music, bluegrass music, has a lot of blues in it, a lot of bluesy sounding notes and things like this. So this is a song, and I'm going to do a cover tune that Bill Monroe wrote with Peter Rowan, and it's called Walls of Time. And you can listen and tell me if you don't hear some bluesy influences in this tune here. And it might be a little bit of a morose song, but I kind of like the sentiment that I read in here is, this man who's singing this, I guess it could be a woman that's singing it, but anyway, their partner has already died. And they're so connected that he hears her through the walls of time. That's the name of the song, Walls of Time. And again, there's some sadness in there, but also it shows just how connected, people can become, that they're thinking about resting side by side. Since it's a cover tune, if somebody wants to sing along when I get to the chorus, and you know it. The wind is blowing across the mountain and down on the valley way below. It sweeps the grave of my darling. When I die, that's where I want to go. Lord, send the angels for my darling and take her to that home on high. I'll wait my time down here on earth, love, and come to you when I die. I hear a voice out in the darkness. It moans and whispers through the pines. I know it's my sweetheart a-calling. I hear through the walls of time. Lord, send the angels for my darling and take her to that home on high. I'll wait my time down here on earth, love, and come to you when I die. Our names are carved upon the tombstone. I promised you before you died. Our love will bloom forever, darling, when we're laid side by side. Lord, send the angels for my darling and take her to that home on high. I'll wait my time down here on earth, love, and come to you when I die. Thank you.
So now I'm going to get to that song I was talking about to sort of demonstrate how much the blues musicians influenced modern rock and roll and things like that in the 60s. So this is a song by a guy named Henry Thomas. He was from Texas, actually. And he played this instrument here called the quills. So for those of you who sort of understand these things, these are, it's a pentatonic instrument, so just five notes in the scale. And it's a folk instrument, so I thought it would be appropriate for the folk song society.
And we're actually
didn't make the pipes. What I did is I actually bought a zampona from Brazil, from Bolivia. I paid somebody in Chicago, but it was shipped from Bolivia, and it had about 21 pipes. It's a chromatic, or not chromatic, diatonic, like a normal eight note scale. So I had to basically get a 21 note instrument in order to get the 8 pipes that I needed. So and it was inexpensive really. But so then I took the pipes, and I got the ones I needed and made a single. Instead of having 3 rows, it just had 1 row. And I learned the parts on the guitar, I learned the parts on the pipe, and for a year I could not put them together. It just made me crazy. And one day I said, it's kind of, I have to reach out to those ones at the end. What if it was curved? So I took a pencil and I drew on a board like this. And I cut the board and I steam bent the bamboo strips and I put it together, and within 2 hours I was playing Henry Thomas. I was like, holy smokes. Just blew me away. So this is a song, you're gonna know the song right away. And you're gonna wanna sing along, and you can do that. But listen, let me sing the chorus once, because his words are a little different from the version you're gonna know. A little different. Let me just make sure that it's gotta be right in the right. Something's funny here. Here we go. I went up on the hill about 12 o'clock. I reached right back and got me a pole. I went to the hardware, got me a hook. I fetched that line right on that hook. Says you go fishing all of the time. I'm going fishing too. Bet your life your loving wife will catch more fish than you. Any fish bites if you got good bait. Now here's a little something I would like to relate. Any fish bites if you got good bait. I'm a going fishing. Yes, I'm gonna fishing. I'm a going fishing too. Looked down the river about 1 o'clock. I spied a catfish swimming around. Got so hungry, didn't know what to do. I'm gonna catch me a catfish too. Said you going fishing all of the time. I'm a going fishing too. Bet your life your loving wife can catch more fish than you. Any fish bite if you got good bait. I'm gonna fishing too. Put on the skillet and let my lid. Mama gonna make a little short and bread. Said you gone fishing all of the time. I'm going fishing too. I bet your life, your loving wife can catch more fish than you. Any fish bite if you got good bait. Now here's a little something I would like to relate. Any fish bite if you got good bait. Now I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. I'm a gonna fishing too. And one thing that's interesting is recently there was a German sort of documentary, no sound whatsoever, from I think the early 50s maybe, and it was about coming up the Mississippi and visiting Chicago. And on it, there is a person playing an instrument similar to this. He's got it in a box, but it is Henry Thomas. I mean, all the blues historians are in total, it couldn't have been anybody else. There's no sound. You can just see him, and he's playing guitar, and he's playing on his quills. And it's like a Maxwell Street market. It was a big market in Chicago. And so there is 10 seconds of footage of him actually playing the quills and the guitar together.
Very nice. All right. Well, yeah, that is good. We got around to some Texas artists since that's where Juneteenth is connected to, of course. Of course, at the first Juneteenth in 1865, there would not have been blues there. Blues doesn't, anything that what we would call blues doesn't come along till maybe 1890s to early 1900s is when you start hearing anything like the blues, and it doesn't get recorded until 1920. And all the first 5 years of recording the blues, virtually all women blues artists. And they would be singing usually with a jazz-like combo, like a piano player at least, and maybe a horn player or two and some other instruments. So I'm going to do a song by the person who kind of sets the image of blues being a man playing a guitar, which is kind of now the cliche of what blues is. But that was a new thing then. It was not at all what people expected the blues to be. So a man named Blind Lemon Jefferson from Wortham, Texas, and he's moved to Dallas and was playing on the streets there when he was discovered by a record company owner who referred him to a record store owner who referred him to a record company to record. And fabulous artist, and the record company loved it because now, we don't need to hire an arranger and other musicians and an arrangement or a place a big room to rehearse. This guy carries his whole orchestra with him and does it all. So after that, they started looking for other similar artists like that. It made things easier for them. So Blind Lemon Jefferson kind of starts it off. So let me try one of his songs, if I can sing it out. He had this higher voice than I do, but I'm going to see what I can do with this one. Prison Cell. So I don't think Blind Lemon Jefferson was ever in prison, but he sings quite heartfelt lyrics about it in this song. I'm sure he knew plenty of people who had been, and getting tired of sleeping in this low down lonesome cell, and I wouldn't have been here if it hadn't have been for Nell. Lay awake at night and I just can't eat a bite. Used to be my rider, but you just don't treat me right. Getting tired of sleeping in this low-down lonesome cell, and I wouldn't have been here if it hadn't have been for Nell. Hates to wake up and find my rider gone. Walk across my floor, Lordy, how I'm on. Wouldn't have been here if it hadn't have been for Nell. Getting tired of sleeping in this low-down lonesome cell. Got a wild-eyed captain and a squabbling boss. Got a red-eyed sergeant hunting, it won't knock off. I'm getting tired of sleeping in this low down and lonesome cell. And I wouldn't have been if it hadn't have been for Nell. I asked the government take some days off of my time, 'cause the way I'm treated, I'm about to lose my mind. I wrote to the governor, says please turn me loose. Didn't get no answer, I know it ain't no use. I'm getting tired of sleeping in this low-down lonesome cell. But I wouldn't have been here if it hadn't have been for Nell. Thank you. Of course, it's not his fault that he's in prison. Of course, it's all about Nell. It's all her fault.
All right. So I'm going to tell a little story about this banjo. So my family bought this for me from Artichoke Music about 15 years ago. And this banjo is made out of exotic African wood. So I'm going to make the connection between the banjo and Africa for y'all a little bit, and maybe a little homework assignment or something to do. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a band called the Carolina Chocolate Drops. And there you go. And Rhiannon Giddens, you know, so either look up Rhiannon Giddens or Carolina Chocolate Drops, and you'll hear some early, well, they're more of the current day African American string band, but they borrow a lot of the roots of that string band music and, you know, play banjo. And anyway, she's from Greensboro, North Carolina. And when I was in college, I started learning banjo from a guy that was from Greensboro, North Carolina. And I don't play at all the style that she plays. She plays clawhammer, and I was taught more of the bluegrass, you know, Three Pinkett style, but kind of want to make that connection a little bit, again, to the banjo here. And I liked playing the banjo so much that when I graduated from college with my engineering degree, I went on the road playing music professionally. And I was 22 years old, and that was one of my instruments, was the banjo that I played. I played the banjolo and the saxophone and rhythm guitar in a country rock band, and we played, well, from Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, all the way to Wisconsin, Minnesota. Anyway, that was the connection. And I used to play the banjo a lot. And then there's the people in the audience that know me say, they didn't know Ken played the banjo because I haven't played it much lately. You'll see when I play this. But I wanted to make that connection because, again, I want you all to, if you don't know the Carolina Chocolate Drops, check out their music. And then this is the original composition of mine I wrote they call it Grandpa V. And it's for my grandpa. And he died before I was born, but he was like the boogeyman in our family. Well, I heard, you know, dark stories about my grandpa, Juan de la Cruz Vigil. And anyway, so this is Grandpa V, and those of you that are, you know, banjo aficionados, it's a minor tuning that I'm doing here. See if I can remember how to play the banjo after all these years. Thank you.
Well, we're sort of running out of time, so I'm not going to talk too much about the instrument, but it's a 1943. I'm sorry, it's a 1933 for anybody who is interested in these instruments and knows about them. But that's not, it's just. It's a duol, a national stringed instrument, national steel instrument, stringed instrument, duolian. Yeah. And I'm going to play a song. This is by a guy named Robert Petway, and he was recorded kind of late. I think this was recorded in '41. And but it still has a very primitive feel to it. It's the original first recording of Catfish Blues. Well, I lied down last night. Well, I tried to take my rest. Notion struck me last night, babe. I believe I'll take a stroll out west. Take a stroll out west. Take a stroll out west. Take a stroll. Take a stroll. Well, what if I was a catfish, mama? I said swimming deep down in deep blue sea. Have these gals now, mama, sitting down, hook for me. 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 Sitting out, hook for me. Sitting out, hook for me. Well, I went down to the church house. Yeah. Well, I called on me to pray. Fell on my knee now, mama. Didn't know not a word to say. 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 Play it, man, play along, long time. I'm gonna write me a letter, baby. I'm gonna write it just to see my babe too. She's singing a little old thing on me, little old thing on me, little old thing on me, had a little thing on me, had a little thing on me, had a little thing. Play it again, man. Play it a long time. Catfish Blues.
Well, thanks everybody for coming out. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock, and maybe respect for the neighborhood and everything. We'll call it a night, but I want to thank you all for coming out and for supporting Artichoke and supporting Portland Folk Music Society. and celebrating Juneteenth with some acoustic blues related. But thanks very much for having us.
I just want to say, can I have my mic back on? Hello?
It's on.
This was my as a resident debut in Portland. I played here a couple times a few years before the pandemic. I came up and visited in the summers and played a few times. But this since I moved here about all going on 2 years, this was my debut. I had been away from the guitar for a while. I needed to get my chops back. But thank you so much for being a great audience. Thanks.
So Waxwing John Cowan, Steve Chesborough, and I'm Ken B. Hill. Thank you.